Terry Etheridge,
Good
I'm
morning.
putting this together right now, quick and dirty, because you just came in and said something amazing, and I didn't think that I could actually get excited about the, HR stuff or people management. But I've come to realize something. You know what? Ask me what.
What?
I really like people.
You do like people.
I do
And
like
people like
people.
you.
Well, I don't
You.
know. You see, this is how you get people to like you. I want to teach you a secret.
I'm ready.
Um, like them first, even if they have no reason to be liked. I mean, because you don't know them yet. Like them first. People, what I found is in sales, this is a little sales thing. People will rather do business with people that know that they like them, even more so than they like the person.
That makes sense.
People like
Yeah.
to be liked. Like,
People love to be liked.
yeah,
And
people love
people
to be
love to
liked.
have joy.
I love to have joy. Yes, and that feeds right into what you came in here and talked about, which is why I'm putting this together now. We may or may not have people, chime in because I haven't advertised this at all. But if they do, we'll be able to talk to them. So, read that thing that you came in and told me about today, and then we can discuss.
Yeah, I will. So there was an article in Harvard Business Review that talked about joy, and it immediately caught my attention because it had a big smiley face on it, and also because of a conversation I had last night with a friend. So what it says is people intrinsically seek joy. Joy connects people more powerfully than almost any other human experience.
Joy.
Joy that connected with me was last night. I went to dinner with a friend and brought our kids. Kids are having a good time. And she's talking to me about her job and lots going on. People have been promoted, but now they haven't backfilled. So she's got all this extra work on her. She's a senior level person at the organization and she's overwhelmed. And we had this conversation that since COVID, she said, I feel like people just don't have joy at work anymore. And I said, what do you mean they don't have joy? And she said, I don't know. People just don't seem happy. They're not fun. The work seems heavier. She said, nothing's changed for us since before that. But, something changed during and after. So now I don't see the joy anymore. I don't see the laughter. I don't see the engagement. I see the look of dread on people all the time. And so this article really inspired me because it was like, we don't really focus on joy. We ask people if they're happy, but what brings joy to someone, right? They said 90% of people expect to go to work and find joy, and
Really?
only 37% of them actually say they have it.
Well, so I mean, when you're going to some places to find joy, okay, so all right, hotshot. So you're talking to your gal there. Then what? So now how are you going to make joy at work?
Right. I think it's figuring out, I think what we didn't do, like we acknowledged for a lot of people that they went through a lot of heartache and hardships. There's been so much that's gone on, and there's a lot of grief that comes with that. I don't think we spend enough time trying to figure out personally what people need. And like we kind of group said, hey, let us know if you need some resources, and companies did some good things. But when it comes to that personally letting people connect back to their work, that's when the joy that from the article, what I kind of got from it the most was when people find joy, it's when they feel valued. And when they feel valued is when they feel like they have purpose and they're doing meaningful work. So it's not that we have to go out and give people things to make everything happy and fun. It's how do we get people to feel like the work that they're doing is meaningful and valuable, and that then once they do that, there's some type of acknowledgement or recognition for it. And that's what we do at Interaction. I mean, that was kind of the whole goal was to make sure people had insight into the work that they were doing, and that work aligns to the company goals and missions, and so people see the value and the meaning. So I'm hoping that that's what we wanted. Our vision when JD and I started, the vision that we said was we want to help create and support healthier, happier environments at work. That leads to success. And it was that healthier, happier, that joy that I think we tried to build into our platform.
Yeah, and people get that just from being, I mean, everybody enjoys a pat on the back. Everybody enjoys, or even just, and every interaction you're having with other people, you can get it from them too, and let everybody see those inspirations are big that it does. And it's all, AI, which is cool. Well, what about like on the hiring process? There's an old, I don't know if it was either Newt Rockney or Vince Lombardi. I'm not sure which coach it was, but they asked him. They asked that person how they managed to have such motivated teams, how their teams were always so filled with people that were just so motivated. And the answer was simple. He said, well, what we do is we get rid of the unmotivated ones. And in other words, it's something that they bring to them. They bring to the job. So is there any responsibility either do you look for that on the hiring process to hire,
Happy people?
joyful people?
Yeah, right. Yes. I mean, I think it's when you're hiring for culture, and if you have a culture that is joyous, again, and it's a caring, transparent, trusting kind of culture, that you do hire for that. You're asking those types of questions to see if the employee, not only do they have the technical skills or experience, but they have this fit for your organization, that their core values align with the core values of your company, which is why we spend so much time trying to help companies understand the value of having a culture. You have to define what that is. That way people know if they align with it, and when you're hiring people, if you're hiring people that you believe align with it as well.
And so let's say you do hire, I'm playing with this thing. Let's say you do hire, there are some people that, they walk into a room and the room gets brighter. And there are some people that the room brightens up when they leave. And so, but how can that person, how can they share those how does somebody generally share those things to push the culture in that way? Currently, is it a top-down type of thing?
So recognizing, you're saying calling out, like when somebody doesn't have a great behavior or poor performance?
Yeah, a company right now is experienced like this woman. She says, I see dread all over the place. So, ultimately, she doesn't seem to be that type of person, that is dreadful.
Right.
She seems like someone who wants to spread the joy. So how can she do it?
Right. It's tough right now because, again, a lot of times people manage up well. I don't want to tell my boss that I'm miserable or all the people on my team aren't that happy anymore. So you tell other people. You tell your friend when you go to dinner with them, or you tell your spouse or your significant other when you go home to them. You're not sharing it up. The value of letting people know that the presence of people in the organization is so that the company can demonstrate care. If I knew, Dan, that you typically scored pretty high on your presence, you were engaged in meetings and you were participative and you were showing kindness to other people, and then at one point that started to go down a little bit for you, that's an opportunity with data to jump in and say, hey, are you okay? Is there anything we can do to help? Personalize it to you. That's not what we do today. We don't have the technology. So that's what we built, was to be able for you to have and capture feedback from everyone in the organization that gives you some insight to the potential loss of joy or happiness in the workplace. Instead of asking people, are you happy? Because when you try to do like, hey, send me a survey that says, am I happy or not? I'm not going to typically tell you, no, I'm not. Right? Hopefully somebody would if they were in a really, really bad place, but the average person is not going to do that. But if you get some insight from others that said, hey, you're different than you were yesterday or the week before, that's helpful.
Yeah, and you're so right. Because if somebody asks me, how you doing, you seem upset. I'm like, don't worry about it, because I don't want to get into it. I don't want to let anybody know, that I have this mole that I'm worried about.
Yeah,
I really
you have to be vulnerable. Yeah. And you're only going to do that with people you care the most about. That's why you go and tell your friend at dinner, because you care about them and you know that you can trust them.
And you're right. It happens so quickly. Like if there's a new hire that everybody gets again. So what do you think of this person? You think that right? Oh, like the gossip and like little infighting happens so quickly. And so, and so it's tough to build that. It seems to me that the solution to all these issues to make a joyful workplace is all about interaction.
All about interaction.
That's it. They got to check it out. Well, you're awesome. I kind of look forward to these things,
Me too. You're spur of the moment, and you surprise me, and I never know, so I probably don't always look my best, but they are fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you don't look your best. Why there's something. You say, if I was interacting with you and they said, how is she doing? I said, she always puts herself down for no apparent reason. That's my feedback.
I would say
honest
a lot of women
feedback.
do that. We do. A lot of people do it, but it's hard to be on camera. It's hard to like have and know somebody's like just looking at you. Like in the moment and live, I'm all about it. But the moment you tell me, "Hey, I'm gonna have you record this," or yeah,
Yeah.
that
Well, yeah, I guess this is something, to talk about in a, in an environment, in a work environment. Uh, ju- people think you think that people are looking at you and critiquing you, but really they're thinking to themselves, "Man, I wish I was as brave and look as good as Terry does
you're
on
very
camera."
kind, dude. You're very kind.
All right, you're awesome. I can't wait to see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Take it easy.